Welcome back, listeners, and welcome to the Starting Grid, podcast where we discuss news related to Formula One racing and the race weekend. And this weekend, we're going to be talking about the French GP. I'm your host, Malik Derojai, and with me, as always,
is Calvin.
Yes, and we are here. We are back on time and on schedule for the first time in quite a few weeks, so apologize for that. But yeah, let's jump into the weekend because it wasn't too eventful for Formula One, but there was a lot of things happening in Formula 2 and Formula 3, which we're not going to get into because I didn't watch those races, but there was lots of
You can't tease them like that.
I know, but there was just lots of drama. So if you honestly, I saw quite a bit of drama between on the F1 page and the F2 Instagram pages.
Okay, well, let's get in. What's this drama you saw?
Well, I don't know
Just
that
give
much
us like
about
a brief overview of what you saw, and
there was some penalties going around that people felt undeserved. Ever since Vettel got that penalty in Canada,
it's all
been
everyone can talk about is penalties.
Penalties for F2, for F3, for F1 in France. It's just kind of like questionable. Just like Carlos Sainz it wasn't Carlos Sainz. It was
Ricardo.
No, Ricardo got that penalty, but it was Sergio Perez who got that penalty. So it's like questionable what the stewards are doing. But I know in F2 there was some drama going on. So check that out if you do not follow Formula 2. I still haven't found the time to fit Formula 2 and Formula 3 in my schedule to kind of watch. But check that out if you're into it. But beyond that, we'll get into a little bit of actual F1 news. I think you had something.
Yeah, I got a few things. I guess Max Verstappen saying the Honda engine is going to bring a little bit more power. Hopefully. He says hopefully.
In Austria?
To Austria, yeah. So, bro, that's always good to see.
You're getting ahead of yourself. We're not talking about the Austria GP preview.
This is just a little bit of news. I was gonna whet the appetite here. He says he's hopeful that it'll bring a little bit more power, but he's pleased with the balance. He was commenting on Renault's performance, that they've come a long way. They're looking good.
Verstappen was commenting?
Yeah, he said that even the McLaren was fast on the straight, which obviously we all saw.
Yeah.
I mean, they did.
That was insane.
Yeah, they were looking better than the Renaults for a little while.
Did you see wait, you're talking about Verstappen talking about the Renaults, or are you talking about?
Yeah, this is Verstappen, his comments. Well, he more commented on the engine, Honda's upcoming upgrades.
So you mean to tell me
he made a little comment there?
He told Honda he wants more power, and then he also gave praise to the Renault team and their engines, the team who supplied his engines from last year. Are you telling me that Verstappen was creating a little drama out in these streets?
He might be.
Dang.
But
savage.
I think it was more of a throwaway comment that the engine upgrades keep coming from both Honda and
I'm going to look into it too far and say that it was some shade thrown.
Yeah, you're always digging for that drama. What else we got? It looks like there's a little bit of news about Michael Schumacher. Well, not really news, but a little comment by looks like a head of Ferrari, someone who's very close to him. If for some of you guys who don't know, Michael Schumacher was injured in a skiing accident, and
who doesn't know that? Who listens to this podcast?
That's true.
Better.
So he hasn't been seen since Christmas of 2013. But looks like he's saying that his injury is a very private thing, and Michael is very well surrounded, living with his family in his house between Geneva and Lausanne. And that's all he really had to say about it. He says he's continuing to fight, and that's the only thing he can say right now. So, it sounds like he's doing okay, but who really knows at this point?
Okay.
But Ralf Schumacher's doing good. He's looking. He keeps coming up.
Oh yeah, and
he's looking
F2,
good.
right?
Yeah.
I have to look at how well he's doing in F2 right now.
Yeah, I know. I really do want to follow F2 more closely. We'll get into that some other time, I guess. But and then Steiner for Haas says they may need to focus on the 2020 car rather than focusing on further major developments for this year's car.
Oh, Haas is trying to throw things away already because they did so terribly in the French Grand Prix.
Yeah, so he's saying at the first race we were good enough for 6th and 7th, but this weekend we started 15th and 16th. So not looking good. He's not feeling too good for the rest of the year. Or maybe he's trying to limit expectations.
Oh, remember what he said last weekend, the last race weekend, where he was like, I'm fed up with how terrible we're doing. Something has to give. And this feels like a continuation of that, like of him kind of being tired of sucking.
Yeah, he says, don't ask me what is happening. I don't know, and I can't answer. But we have to figure it out. So,
all right, Gunther.
Yeah. So, I don't know. He's kind of the spin man for Haas.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun Drive to Survive series for season 2 on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. A lot of Steiner cussing. Yeah. Everyone loves it.
Probably. All right, that all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got. So, not too exciting, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, let's jump straight into the race because we actually have 2 things to cover this episode. We've got to review the French GP, and we've got to preview the Austrian GP that is this weekend. So
yeah, we got our first double header.
And then I think it's another double header the very next weekend as well. Triple header, I want to say.
I don't think there's any triple headers this year.
Oh, no? Just last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump in.
That was just me glancing at the calendar.
Oh, cool. Well, that'll be good because we already have a hard time keeping up with the dang schedule. So the French Grand Prix, of course, in my usual style, I missed FP1, FP2, and FP3 and half of qualifying.
Wow.
All of qualifying. I missed all of it. But I woke up, surprisingly, just woke up all on my own with no alarm right as the race started. Like literally, they were on the formation lap when I woke up. I wasn't trying to watch it on time because I was out of town this past weekend, at my baby shower and all that. So I was just dead tired after, hosting that party and whatnot. And so I was definitely not trying to wake up for it. I was going to watch it later, but I'm glad I watched it because I didn't find time yesterday or today to even watch it. But I did catch the actual race. Did you catch qualifying or?
Yeah, I did catch qualifying.
Or the practices?
None of the practices. I was about to give you a ton of crap for not watching the practices, but then I was like, yeah, I didn't watch any of them either.
We need to do better.
It's such a busy weekend.
I know.
So,
well, I know from qualifying, the most surprising thing I saw when I opened my eyes that morning to watch the starting grid or the formation lap, and I saw 2 McLarens following a Red Bull and a Ferrari. I was like, and then a Ferrari behind the McLarens. I was like, holy ish, what happened during qualifying?
Yeah.
So how the heck did Vettel end up behind McLaren's, and how did McLaren's end up so high up the grid?
Right.
Do you have any explanation for this, Calvin?
I don't. I mean, it could be contributed to Renault's a little bit of power upgrades there, but I don't think it's that much of a jump ahead of Ferrari.
They can't be. Yeah, Ferrari has the fastest car on the track. That's fastest straight line car on the track. So where did Vettel mess up that he ended up qualifying behind? I'm grasping for McLaren
explanations, but
I don't think they've given one because I went back to just watch I think Q3 or that's the section. I think there was a video. It was highlights. Must have been highlights. And yeah, Vettel just qualified behind McLaren. There was no mistakes. He just couldn't find the pace.
Yeah.
During Q3, and I was astounded. I couldn't believe it. So kudos to McLaren for putting their car up the grid so high above Renault and a struggling Haas. And then not kudos to Vettel, but sorry, not a kudos to him, but kudos to Leclerc, at least, for out-qualifying his teammate and staying ahead of...
I think, just from messing around on that track, there's so many nuances to that track.
Yeah.
Where you can really lose a lot of time.
Yeah,
and if you're just off
no excuse
one day.
There's no excuse for a Ferrari to be beaten by a McLaren.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. But you can lose a tenth of a second, just a simple mistake anywhere. Like, Lando broke down during one of the post-race interviews his lap and how he qualified. I don't know if you saw that. I think it was during the On the Grid pre-race show. And he was pointing out a couple mistakes he made where he thinks he lost a tenth of a second or a 90th of a second. So,
and he still qualified quite high.
yeah. So he even had stuff that he thought he could improve on.
Well, I was impressed. I mean, I've been talking about McLaren this whole season. We've been hoping and seeing them fighting a lot stronger than they were last year, which is awesome. And they only had the one engine problem, right, in Australia?
Yeah, I believe so.
To my knowledge. So Renault's been holding it down a little bit for them. And clearly,
most of the teams this year, there's been really no, other than Renault having a couple, like the actual factory cars,
I guess
a couple engine problems.
Yeah, actually, Renault has the most engine malfunctions of the season so far right now.
Yeah.
Because they had both Renaults, they had one McLaren, and that's it. That's all they supply, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, McLaren, from where they were at the beginning of the year and how much we were talking them down, like we thought it was going to be Williams, McLaren at the bottom, and then to see this performance this week, I mean, hats off to them.
Yeah, it's great. And Lando qualifying ahead of Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Albeit he lost that position almost immediately in the race, but still, that was solid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is unfortunate what happened later in the race for Lando.
Yeah.
It's a little foreshadowing.
Yeah. So, who do we have qualifying? We had Hamilton taking pole by 0.3.
I know, enough already. We get it.
Yeah. He dominated this weekend.
Dude,
but he dominated this weekend in a very annoying fashion of just like, all right, well, we already know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
There was just no, he was breathing easy the whole weekend.
No one had an answer for Hamilton this year.
Not even close. So you mean this year? No, you said it right. This year.
Yeah, this year.
You said it right. This year, no one had an answer. You're just speaking from the future. No one had an answer for Hamilton this year.
It's
maybe next year.
For second now.
Right. True that. So we had Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Vettel, Ricciardo, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Albon, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Perez, Magnussen, Kvyat, Grosjean, Stroll, Russell, and Kubica. That is the qualifying order. Now, we talked a little bit about McLaren being out of place. The other team that was severely out of place was Haas, qualifying in 15th place, and 15th and 17th for Magnussen and Grosjean, respectively. Yeah. What is going on with the Haas car? They're just so inconsistent. They're up and down, mostly down, but they're up and down throughout the season so far. And it's, like you said earlier, Gunther Steiner he's not gonna stand for much longer.
No, they're all over the place. I mean, they're up and down every week, but it seems like their ups are not as high as their downs are low.
Yeah, their ups are just kind of like mediocrely good.
I know that they've been banging the drum on the bad luck and all this and blah blah blah, but I don't know. Maybe they're following
cars just not as reliable as they think.
I think they're following Ferrari's lead, and they think power is going to be everything in this, but it's not the case.
It is not, apparently not. So the other team, was there anyone else out of place? Well, Alfa Romeo, so Giovinazzi actually outqualified Raikkonen, I think, for the first time this season, and he qualified in 10th. So he was up there, made it into Q3, which is, they didn't talk about that a lot. And I think that he's a rookie. That is a rookie in Alfa Romeo. That is a pretty good feat for him to outqualify an experienced veteran.
Yeah.
And make it into Q3.
That might speak a little bit to this track. I mean, they've been only racing on it for 2 years now.
True.
Whereas the veterans, they haven't had that many years of experience on it.
That's true. A little bit of a leveling of the playing field for veterans versus
maybe just
rookies.
a little bit in how many laps they've had on there.
Good insight.
Yeah.
That's true. Because, they all have raced on it pretty much the same amount plus 1 year.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Raikkonen he was in the French GP before, but I think it was just a different track. But still, you would think that he could still out-qualify his rookie teammate. And then Gasly down in 9th place, still struggling to find.
Not looking good for him on the Red Bull.
Struggling to find his footing in the Red Bull. I don't know if he's going to be racing for Red Bull next year, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't think he's going to keep that seat?
Not at this pace. I mean,
who are they going to replace him with, though? I mean,
touche. I was just about to say that, but who do they have? They don't have anybody. They have Kvyat and who's the other driver that I cannot think of? What's his name? You know his name.
I'm drawing a blank.
They have Kvyat. Oh man, what is his name? I cannot for the life of me think of it. Alexander Albon. I had it on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, I didn't know you were meant like a current racer.
Well, yeah.
I was thinking people who were just like waiting in the wings.
No.
On the Red Bull development team.
No. Well, and actually, speaking of development, a bit of news that I forgot about. McLaren and Renault agreed to share. Is it Esteban Gutierrez? I should have said that name because I'm pretty sure it's not right. But they agreed to share one of their reserve drivers. So
is that just for practicing?
But it was McLaren doing that. And I was like, I don't know. Lando Norris has been doing great in that car. So they can't be thinking of replacing him.
Speaking of McLaren, I did see a bit of news. They have no plans to put Alonso back in the seat. In their F1 car.
Probably a bad idea.
Yeah. So
let him retire. He should just stay retired in peace. Don't try to come back and ruin a rookie's career.
Let him keep going for that Indy win.
Right. So that was a qualifying order, and so I don't think there was too much of any penalties going around from qualifying.
I don't think any penalties. I know that.
Nope, I take that back. Kvyat and Russell
they
started
both
from
did
the back.
some engine stuff. So
yeah, which allowed Kubica to stay ahead of Russell the entire time for the first time. So he didn't overtake him, but he managed to hold him off. So for the first time this season,
10th race is a charm.
Kubica, is it the 10th race? No,
I think so, right?
Seventh race.
No, it's been more than 7.
Australia, Bahrain, China, Azerbaijan, France. I'm out of order now. Canada, France. That's it. 6.
Nah, I think there's one more in there.
Where else did we race?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So definitely not 10 races. We're not halfway through the season. All right, so should we get into the actual race? It wasn't too entertaining of a race until the very end there.
No, it's bad when the announcers are talking like, "Hey, let's turn on the sprinklers."
Is that what they say?
This track down. Yeah, you didn't catch that?
No, I missed that.
Oh, dude, one of the guy who's runs around the pit lane. I forget his name. He's like, doesn't this track have sprinklers all along it? He's like, let me go ask where those are. I'll turn them on.
Oh man, yeah, it was not
like maybe they
too
should have
entertaining
done
of a
that.
race.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, speaking about the race, Hamilton started front, led the whole way, finished at the front. So get that out of the way. Hamilton wins.
Yeah, there was one. I think after his first pit stop, Vettel looked like he might have been able to, maybe if he had better tires, but stay out a little bit longer and get ahead of him. And then I think
Leclerc, you mean? Vettel couldn't have overcut Hamilton all the way from 6th.
No, so when they pitted
place?
him, when Hamilton ended up coming out of the pits, he was only 2 seconds ahead of him because he hadn't pitted at that point.
Yeah.
So they were trying to get him to push before Hamilton took his pit, and then they were assuming they were hoping to get him ahead of Hamilton to try to slow him down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Maybe bunch
to force him into
Bottas up a little bit. Maybe help Leclerc pass Bottas, but
yeah, I
it
remember
looked like
that.
it was really the only hope for Ferrari this weekend.
I do remember that they were trying to hold. They were hoping to get in front of him so they can push him into Leclerc, but didn't happen for him. Actually, I did want to talk about the Lando Norris's qualifying lap versus Verstappen's lap because they did. Did you see the little side by side comparison on Instagram? So they did a kind of like this. I don't know what kind of chart you would call it. They had the cars kind of parallel racing each other across the screen, but they were moving back and forth depending on at what point on the track who was ahead. And it was pretty clear that the McLaren was out speeding the Red Bull.
They just had more power.
They had more power somehow. I don't know.
More power, less drag in the
apparently
straight.
Because there were times when Verstappen would get about a 10th or 2/10 lead, and Norris was able to eat into that on some straights. Most notably the back straight going into that long.
It kind of makes sense though. I mean, Red Bull has more downforce. That's going to create more drag, and then on a power circuit, where you got these really high speed turns and that middle sector is nothing but all out. So
I mean,
that makes sense.
Verstappen literally. This is why Lando Norris got driver of the day. He literally missed out out qualifying both Red Bulls by just 9 thousandths of a second. That's it.
Yeah,
9 thousandths of a second is what he missed out.
And that's kind of what he was saying during his interview. Like going out of the last turn, when you go out last turn and you're...
Yeah, that hairpin into the straight, yep.
Yeah, right before that DRS zone, he made a little mistake where the back end just barely skidded out on him, and he's like, there's my 9 thousandths right there.
Dang.
So...
Yeah, true. It's literally very close. So that... I would have loved to see him out-qualify Verstappen, especially since they race together on iRacing all the time. That would have been awesome. But it allowed for a little bit of a battling going on through the race, but to no avail because Verstappen eventually pulled away.
Yeah, I just don't
halfway through.
McLaren has the race pace.
Right. But, okay, in the race, so a couple things happened in the beginning. We had Sergio Perez pick up that penalty, which was questionable. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he did everything right, but I mean, at the end of the day, he still went off the track, even though he went to the penalty lane, still picked up a position. My
thing is, who's to say that they just didn't go slow through that section?
Well, I think they did go, because it was one of the first couple laps, so they were all bunched up there. So, I mean, they were going slower than they would be if it was the middle of the race and everyone was more spread out. So,
but you can't penalize. You can't penalize someone for if you take the exit route because you're trying to avoid contact, and during that time that you're taking the exit route, the driver that was ahead of you makes a mistake or is going slow for whatever reason. You can't hold the person on the exit route, escape route, accountable for the other driver's pace. Yeah. Like, you can't say, it's like telling them, like, okay, you take the escape road, but make sure you come out behind this one specific driver. Like, I think it's questionable. I don't think he deserved that penalty because literally he did exactly what he was supposed to. He went all the way off to the side, around the little cones and onto that exit route that they provided. And he didn't even do it at a extremely fast pace. Like, it was, if you watched the onboard, it was just kind of like it was the normal pace. He wasn't like overly excessively trying to get ahead or gain an advantage or anything. I mean, he basically had to make a 90-degree right-hand turn around that cone. So I don't think he deserved a penalty, personally. But Vettel did.
Yeah. It's definitely a tough call. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision because I could see it both ways. I could see him you're supposed to stay on the track. Even though you took the penalty lane, you still got ahead. So,
I suppose.
I mean, if
you're
you're
going to
not
need to
on the
make some
track
adjustments.
and you gain a position off the track, I get that. At the same time, I get what you're saying. He did what he was supposed to and what everyone had agreed upon.
What he was supposed to in order to not gain a penalty.
Yeah. But you still can't, you still can't come out ahead.
If the other guy spins out while you're going your escape route and you end up ahead, then you're just ahead.
I think no, because there's more to play with that. There's slow traffic going on.
Yeah, but if they're just slower through there, that's not your problem. That's not your fault. They forced you off track, or you forced off track for some other reason.
So you're taking the service lane to get around the traffic.
Well, no, he got forced out. It's not like he did it purposely. He got forced out.
Yeah,
and so in that time frame while he's doing all that, if something happens in here to change up the order, what does that have to do with him? That's not his fault.
I get it.
He just happened to be luckily forced out by somebody, and he avoided all that drama.
That's true.
Whatever.
I mean, glad we're not stewards, because those are tough decisions.
True that. So I don't think he deserved that penalty, and a lot of people were saying he doesn't, but I think they're reviewing it. He came out and said he was a bit upset about it.
I thought all Stewart's decisions were final.
Oh, they are. But
I mean, if they review that and
you can still piss and whine about it.
Yeah.
If they overturn that, then Vettel's going to be super pissed.
I mean, what can they do? Just take 5 seconds off his overall race time?
Yeah, because that's what he got, right? Just a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, but it was a drive-through. I mean, I feel.
Oh, it was a drive-through?
Not a drive-through. I'm sorry. A pit stop 5-second penalty.
Oh.
So I feel like that sitting and waiting for that 5 seconds in the pit lane is more damaging than just adding 5 seconds to the end of.
I think it's.
I mean,
less. I think it's the same, right? Because when you go in the pit lane, you're already limited to your speed.
Yeah.
So you're limited to 60 miles an hour, I think it is, on this track, or 60 kilometers an hour. And once you stop in the pit lane, they can't touch your car for those 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time you lose more time in a time penalty is if you have to slow down at a certain point. Like if you think back to like racing games, right? Like Gran Turismo, when you have to slow down at a certain part of the track and you lose your momentum, you lose a lot more than that 5 seconds. But if you're already going to stop somewhere and they just add that, they just can't touch your car for 5 seconds, but then they do their pit stop and you go, you've essentially lost exactly 5 seconds, just like if they added it on the end of your race time.
Yeah. But I get it. Yeah. I mean, I know it's really just adding 5 seconds.
Just feels
the same
worse.
Thing. It feels worse. Like the whole vibe.
Yeah, because you are just sitting there.
Like,
you're like,
I mean, when I got a driver that I'm rooting for and he gets a 5 second penalty after he pits, I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as it could be. It just feels worse if it's in the pit lane.
True, because I guess you could say that you could argue actually that doing it in the pit lane will change your race position. And if you get in traffic, track position is everything.
Yeah.
So if you get behind someone that you weren't supposed to be behind, then that has changed your race completely. Versus if you stayed in front of them and got your 5 seconds added on at the end of the race, then that's true. You could stay ahead. So yeah, you're right.
It's a lot more.
Pit lane one is worse.
You gotta increase your
changes your strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. You gotta really plan out your pit stop.
Yeah. So the other penalty that happened during the race was Ricciardo getting 2 5-second penalties at the end.
Driving like a madman.
Yeah.
At the very last lap.
I think he 100% deserved those penalties.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he only barely went off, but it's the angle at which he came on impeded the other driver's racing line. And so that right there is a penalty. He literally impeded, and that's the same as Vettel, because he quite literally impeded someone on. No, okay, it's not the same. I can see your head. You're thinking in your head, looking up. You're like, nah, this guy. You're right.
I'm replaying both of the.
It's not.
In my head.
It's not the same because Vettel did not have a choice at all.
Yeah, exactly.
He had nowhere else to go. Yeah. Ricciardo had plenty of track to turn off and take the exit route, or whatever. He could have completely gone off to the right and just cut the corner, but taken some path that
I think there is a path designated for if you miss that corner.
So because of that, but he chose to try to come back on, and because he got in the way of Lando Norris's line.
It should have been all 4 wheels off the track right there,
and then just bounce,
and then take the exit road. You're gonna let yeah, you're going to lose 1 or 2 positions at that point. Mm-hmm. Just let them go by you.
Yep.
You try, you went for it, you lost it. Don't.
And Ricciardo didn't even gain anything from that move because Raikkonen. No, he did. Did he re-overtake Raikkonen? He did.
He did, but that was another thing. After they get through that chicane section, then he
goes off the road to overtake
off
Raikkonen.
The track again, way off the track.
Is that why he got the second? I didn't understand why he got 2 5-second time penalties. Is
I
it
think
because
he did it twice.
Is it because he went off the track to overtake Raikkonen?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that makes sense. You can't just
go
around someone off the track.
Yeah, that was absurd. He's like, screw it. I know I got a penalty for that one. I'm doing this anyway.
Yeah, I think it was deserved. Sorry, Ricardo. I love you, man, and you're my favorite driver on track, hands down. But
he's lucky he didn't get. I know you can get points on your super license that way. Like if you do stuff intentionally dangerous, you can get points. He's lucky. It could have been way worse.
If he went off the track on the grass and did that, he probably would have got. It could be dangerous. Which I guess if there was grass, he wouldn't be going off the track. But because it's just essentially you're supposed to go slower. Like it's like you were saying, the blue stripes and red stripes were meant to slow you down. So it shouldn't have worked, but it worked. So yeah, it is what it is.
I think Raikkonen was like, "What's this guy doing?"
Yeah, he's like, "Whatever."
He knew he was going to get a penalty for that. So.
Speaking of Raikkonen, did you see Raikkonen and Lando Norris's kind of comedy on their Instagram page?
No.
So I think it was the pre-race festivities. Raikkonen and Giovinazzi were riding in some car, and they were sitting. It was a convertible, and they were sitting up on the back of the car. And the way the picture was taken, it looks like they're driving a.
It has to be an Alpha.
Probably, yeah. A 4C maybe, who knows? But it looks like they're sitting on a tiny car because the way the seat looks, I guess it looked like a steering wheel maybe. Lando Norris, so Kimi Raikkonen posted a picture to his page. Lando Norris commented and said, "Oh, I thought you were driving a tiny car for a second there." And Raikkonen replied with, "I thought the same of you in the race yesterday."
Oh, dang.
I was like, oh, dang, back at him with the jabs. Not that big a deal, but it's just funny because Iceman no comedy.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, I thought you were in a tiny car too, your little McLaren.
Raikkonen's the one guy I'd be like really afraid of.
On the track?
Anywhere.
No, I think he's a super nice guy. He just has a cold stone, like cold face. Just... He's got RBF for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
You never know. You're like,
I don't know, man. He looks terrifying. Maybe he
does.
His just like dry sense of humor just totally puts everyone off. But
he does look kind of mean. But I think just from following him and knowing him, I know he's a super nice guy. Yeah. So, but yeah, you look at him and you just like, I don't know if he wants to kill me right now.
Yeah, you can never tell if he's serious or if he's really pissed or
he's
how
like,
he is.
I freaking hate your guts, and you're like,
and he's really joking.
You're like, I hope your mom gets in an accident. It's like, are you what? So, anyways, what else? I guess during the race was there. The only other thing I can think of.
I mean, I think we hit the main points right there.
Because the race is boring.
Yeah, that was all the exciting stuff in between. Hamilton's start and Hamilton's finish.
There was the fact that Kubica finally finished ahead of Russell for the first time.
Yeah.
So he stayed ahead. Oh, for Lando Norris.
I mean, thank God for that gearbox change, or else that might not be happening.
That's true. No one was talking about Carlos Sainz either because Lando Norris kind of stole the show with his qualifying time, but Carlos Sainz overtook Lando Norris
right off the bat
in lap 1. And stayed ahead of him, finished ahead of him, and actually finished.
I feel like those drivers are pretty evenly matched, though, in that McLaren. So, I mean, Lando just didn't get the best start off the line.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz finished 6th, best of the rest.
Yeah, it was definitely a good day for McLaren.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, and
they both finished in the points after Ricardo's penalties were added on. Lando Norris finished in 9th.
He had a great race. Oh, I guess we didn't touch on Lando was having a hydraulic issue.
Oh, yeah, at the end there.
Prevented his DRS from opening. That's a ton of time, especially.
Well, I don't think he was behind anybody, so I don't think it stopped him.
Yeah.
He never really caught up to anybody, so I don't think it. But the hydraulic issue
affected
not
gear shifting,
other things. Yeah. It was horrible in his upshifts.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could have slowed him down. Who knows?
Yeah.
He could have got close to signs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. He was pretty far back. So, yeah, the finishing order, Lewis Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc. That was your 1, 2, 3 of the race. Verstappen taking fourth place.
How do you like Leclerc in that race? It looked like he knew third place was the best they were going to do.
Yeah.
Kind of resided in that position. And
yeah, kind of an uneventful race for him. Just kind of stayed there. The top three guys, well, actually, only Hamilton. Hamilton never
Bottas.
saw the back of another car that wasn't a back marker. Mm-hmm. So Hamilton stayed ahead of everyone, even during the pit stops. He never came behind anyone. Bottas, I think, fell behind Vettel for some time. And then once Vettel pit stopped, that was it. So, yeah, Hamilton, Bottas, and Leclerc all just started first, second, third, and finished there. Vettel started in seventh and ended up finishing in fifth.
Max too, right? Started in fourth and finished.
Oh, yeah, Max too. Vettel started in eighth.
Eighth, right?
Eighth, and finished in fifth, so he got ahead of the McLarens.
Yeah.
Lucky for him. It'd be terrible if he finished behind McLaren. It'd be like, oh yeah, Vettel's done. He's not coming back after his contract.
The writing's on the wall.
But
I was looking up salaries. Vettel makes like $40 million
he's
a year.
Highest paid, right?
No, Hamilton
Is Hamilton higher paid? Okay.
Second highest. And then like third is Max Verstappen with like 15.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. The
Such
jump
a
up.
drop, yeah.
Yeah.
What I wonder what the low. I wonder like Russell or Kubica are getting.
I was looking at that too. They're in. I don't think these numbers are exact because they're.
Well, you got. I don't think it takes in
place.
sponsorships and everything else. It's probably just the F1 teams.
Russell's only at like 180,000.
Okay.
And then Kubica is at 1.5 million or 1.5 million euro.
That's so messed
So
up.
like 1.8 million.
They're paying Kubica more than Russell, who is out qualifying him.
Kubica's been racing for.
I don't give
many
two
years.
flying F's how many years. As soon as contract negotiations come up, I'd be like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely either he's taking a pay cut or
Russell's getting paid more. Because if I was Russell, I'd be like, you need to be paying me more because I'm working my butt off to put this car where it's not supposed to be.
I think that's anything though. Entry level.
Of that. It's true. They always playing the entry level guy.
Yeah, how many years of experience you got?
Yeah, dang. Entry level just means you have 5 years experience. You can finally make some money.
Yeah.
All right. So those are finished in order for the top five, Vettel, and then Carlos Sainz, followed by Raikkonen, Hülkenberg, Norris, Gasly in 10th place. So rounding out the points, terrible. Daniel Ricciardo, Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll, Kvyat, Albon, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kubica, and then George Russell in last place for the first time, and then Romain Grosjean did not finish the race. So, yeah. Kevin Magnussen and Grosjean essentially last they're just kind of ahead of Williams, but that's Haas not doing well.
No, not at all.
Hopefully they can turn around.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's probably a good idea, though, for them to focus on their 2020 car. There's so many rules changes coming next year that it kind of makes sense.
Right.
Especially how bad I know we're only, a third of the way, a little bit over, but I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah. Should we finish up for the French GP? Talk about some predictions? I'm not sure who won for Burrito Bet.
I don't know either.
So, looking at it now.
I say a name and I forget it until you remind me the next week.
I won. Wait. I won. I just have the names wrong because you went with Leclerc for the win.
Damn.
I went with Hamilton.
It's really down to who picks Hamilton every week.
I was going to suggest that we just no one can pick Hamilton from now on.
Okay. All right.
You're still up one.
Okay, yeah, because I was up 2.
Yes, you're still up 1 burrito.
Yeah.
But I think you're up 1. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was up 2 last week, yeah.
So I think going forward, we just got to take Hamilton out. You can't pick Hamilton race win. You can still pick them for best of the rest, or which would be a dumb idea, or first DNF, which could happen. So maybe you get bold and just feel like Mercedes is going down. It's bound to happen. They went down last season in Austria, both of them.
Yeah, a few races.
I was so mad. I'll get into that.
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit. But yeah, so I went for Hamilton for the win, Ricardo best of the rest, and Renault being the first DNF. You went for Leclerc for the win, Iceman best of the rest, and Racing Point being the first DNF. So I take the burrito bet win this time around.
Yeah, where did Raikkonen finish after the penalties?
Well, Carlos
penalties.
Sainz was best of the rest. He finished after Sainz.
Yeah.
So Ricardo finished.
So he's in seventh?
Is he seventh? Yes. Raikkonen finished in seventh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ricardo was 11th. Just outside the point. Finishing the points, but then got...
Yeah, that was a really dumb move by Ricardo because
he was in the points solidly.
He could have not gained that position, kept way more points. And instead now he's 0.
He could have kept... I think he could have kept... Yeah, he would have had 2 points because he would have been in... I think he would have just been in 9th.
Not 8th?
Well, yeah, because
he was right behind
Hulkenberg as well.
Lando,
8th. Yeah, 8th. He would have been in...
Was that 4 points?
Yeah, because it was Carlos Sainz and then Lando Norris, right?
Yeah.
And then...
So he was in 8th, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Raikkonen really capitalized on that because he was... I think he was...
Yeah,
he
Raikkonen
split the... Yeah, so it's just Ricardo got removed out. Yeah, because Raikkonen was right between the two Renaults. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So that's that for the French GP. Anything else?
So long next year. Hopefully next year is a lot more entertaining.
Well, let's move on to a very quick preview of the Austrian Grand Prix coming this weekend. This Thursday is first practice. So
I'm glad we finally get a doubleheader.
Right.
I love this back-to-back F1 races.
I don't know, man. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm just so sleepy these weekends.
Yeah.
This baby stuff is rough. Baby's not even here yet.
You just need to relax and just watch some F1.
Right. True that. It's just lots of preparation.
Yeah.
The Austrian GP, we didn't do, well, I did some racing on the F1 game.
Yeah, I am yet to practice this track.
I don't remember my time, of course, because I never do.
Yeah. I mean, of the two of us, you are the only one to actually have gone to this track in the flesh.
Yes. So I have been there physically. I went there last year when I was road tripping Europe and stopped and forced my now fiance to allow us to drive 4 hours out of the way to go to the Austrian GP. And we left Budapest at like 3 o'clock in the morning or something in order to make it to the race.
Damn. And weren't you still kind of cutting it close?
We left at 5 a.m. Yeah, we cut it. We didn't even get to the race on time.
Did you see the start or anything?
Nope.
Or no?
Yes, but I didn't. I was there, didn't see it.
Okay.
Was on the premises walking around.
They were playing the national anthem, jets flying over.
Hadn't made it to where we were gonna be watching it from.
Passing the concession stand?
Yeah. Well, no, that's why I missed it because I had to get beer.
Of course. Priorities.
That's why I missed the start of the race.
Nice.
But it was cool being there. Austria is a beautiful country. I'm telling you right now, it is one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen driving through that countryside. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And the track is pretty awesome as well. Very wide open.
Is it just like tucked away there in the hills or?
Tucked away in the hills. Got the mountainous background the mountains in the background. So it's a good view. It's super beautiful, man. I'm going to post a picture and some videos on the Instagram page actually.
Very cool.
Yeah. Some personal ones. So you get some of my content.
Yeah. You guys get some firsthand looks at the track.
It was awesome. Now last year's race didn't go so well for me because I was rooting for Hamilton, and both Hamilton and Bottas DNF'd during that race. They had some engine issues. But
it was a good day.
And you know what's even more upsetting? Oh, man, this guy. You know what's even more upsetting? We were both standing at the fence.
This is so funny.
Where Hamilton DNF'd, and we had just walked away.
Yeah.
We had just walked away to find a different seat to just see a different part of the track.
Didn't he go up into the crowd?
No, he didn't go over in the crowd because you'd have to hop the fence and stuff. He just went like you just got really close to him because if you're up against the fence, you can get close to where
you could have saw your hero.
I know I could have screamed his name and he would have ignored me, but I just didn't. And I could have asked him to sign the headphones that I got for him for free off his Instagram page.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I was so upset because we walked away and then like literally 15 minutes later, I was looking at the screen. I was like, oh. Is that that's the same spot we were at. I was just so upset. I was like, I could have been right there.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure the drivers they don't even look at the fans when they DNF.
A few of them have gone up in the
Raikkonen and Alonso
2 years ago, go jump up in the stands.
Yeah.
Well, Raikkonen, I mean, if it's Monte Carlo, go to your boat. Drink some beers with the boys.
And Alonso went to sit on a lawn chair, but I don't think he was with the fans though because he wasn't surrounded by them.
I thought he went up into the grandstand.
No, maybe.
Started walking around.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Fernando Alonso, dude, he would have been swarmed.
Yeah.
By fans. That's cool.
That is really awesome.
But as far as the track itself, driving the track, from seeing it and from driving it on the F1 sim, it is definitely a power track. So it's
very short.
It's a very short track, and it's just a lot of straights. So it's a nice power track, but the hard part about this track is finding the rhythm because, well, I don't know if it's the hard part, but it has a very sweet rhythm because once you get into it, the hardest part is making sure you stay off the power before, don't get on power too early. Because it's got some nice sweeping turns in there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And if you're just too early, you will be out in the grass.
Yeah, not a lot of sharp turns.
No, there's not. There's there's two sharp turns I can think of.
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of a sweeping. There's a small sweeping sharpish turn that's downhill. It's a really difficult turn to get right because you're going downhill after a straightaway, and it's a straightaway to a slight down and then to a very steep downhill kind of not hairpin turn, but sort of hairpin turn. And that'll be turn 1, 2, 3, 4, turn 4.
Yeah. I'm excited to try this track out. Yeah. It looks awesome. Maybe we'll do I'll do some practice laps and then we'll post some screenshots onto the Instagram.
Oh yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We can do that for sure.
Should do that.
So,
see if you guys can do better. Post your times as replies.
Better than you or better than me?
I mean, of course they're going to do better than me.
I'm sorry.
I have no illusions of grandeur. I know I'm slow.
I'm sorry. I had to. You're going to get better. It just takes time.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm getting better though.
Nice.
This is the part where you say, yeah, you're definitely looking a lot better. I can totally tell.
Yeah, Calvin, you're looking a lot better, man. You
thanks, Malik.
Just stop using assist.
Eventually.
Alan Tang called me out about that.
I had a conversation, and he's like, oh, Malik talking about not using assist. And he's like, that fool was using assist for 2 years before I finally got on him.
First of all, he's lying. He's lying. The only assist I used, the only time I used the racing line, I didn't even use the racing line. I used cones on Gran Turismo Sport. They're just braking cones. They basically the same thing as their 100 meter, 50, 100, and 150 meter
same
boards.
Exact thing.
They're basically the same. They're just cones that are sitting there. And he didn't like that I was using that. And then I would only turn on the racing line if it was a track that I didn't know.
Oh, man. You better watch out, man. I'm going to hear about this tomorrow.
I know, because we're talking about it on the podcast. I'm
gonna get an earful about how much...
Alan see me in the streets, bro. Dang, he beat me in skate, too. I'm gonna just have to beat him. I'm going to just have to get him back on Gran Turismo and beat him.
Yeah.
I think it's time. I think I've been practicing quite a bit to beat this one guy.
I mean... I'll give you $20 so you can beat Alan.
He's trying to go to Sonoma for go-karts.
Yeah? I mean, let's do it. I think that's we can do some live video streaming on the Instagram app.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think that'd be awesome.
All right, we're getting off track. Back to the Austrian GP. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I can't wait. Should we do some predictions?
Yeah, let's get into it. Who do you have for race win? And you can't pick Hamilton.
Hamilton's off the table.
Yep.
Oh man, I don't know. Red Bull's always done pretty well here, but
It's true. Verstappen won last year.
Did he win?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was awesome to be there when Red Bull. That's their home track. This is the Red Bull Ring. So
I bet it was amazing. Man, I really want to go with Max. I feel like this might be my one chance this year.
Are you going with him?
I want to go with them, but I still don't know if they have the power.
I don't think so. But I mean, all it takes is 2 Ferrari mistakes and 2 Mercedes mistakes and a Ferrari mistake. 1 Ferrari mistake because he can probably get ahead of Vettel.
Yeah. All it takes is a lot of things to go right, and then he's up there.
It takes Mercedes and Ferrari failing.
Yeah, let's go with Max.
Okay.
Let's go for it. We got to go big.
All right, I will go with Leclerc.
Okay. All right. I like it.
We're just switching back and forth every weekend, pretty much.
I think this is the first time anyone's picked Max to win.
It's true, but it's always Leclerc. It's always the same,
yeah.
Who it has to be. But anyways, all right, best of the rest. Who you got?
Best of the rest. Do you think McLaren can capitalize on their quick pace?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to answer that because I'd be giving away my answer. So why would I answer that question?
Yeah. Dang. I'm gonna go with the Iceman.
Again? Okay.
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna ride that.
He was close.
He scares me.
He was close. You're afraid that if you don't pick him, he'll come and get you?
Yeah. Like the boogeyman.
All right. I'm gonna go with Norris.
All right.
Because I did think McLaren will.
You think he's gonna continue?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, they've been doing really well this year. They haven't always been best of the rest, but they've been close enough.
I think it was good, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep it up.
I'm hoping they will.
Yeah.
Who you got for first DNF constructor?
Ooh. Should I be bold and go
Mercedes for 2 times in a row, 2 years in a row?
Man.
It could happen.
It could happen, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to go with McLaren. Hopefully rain on your parade.
Oh, dang.
Make you lose out on best of the rest, and then maybe give me a point.
All right. I'm going to go with a bit of bad luck for Mercedes and say Mercedes is going to have a DNF, and I'm going to hope it's Bottas. Actually, I'm going to hope it's Hamilton just to make it easy or make the championship a little bit more interesting.
A little bit more exciting. Yeah, that's 20, 25, 26 points he's not going to be able to get.
That'll put him back. That'll put Bottas back up, I think. Guaranteed. Yeah. Actually, what are the standings right now? Do you know?
I mean, is it really?
Well, we know Hamilton's leading.
Yeah.
But by how much? He's leading by
probably 100 points now.
Well, did Bottas have a super bad race? Dang. Hamilton's leading by 36 points. All right. Even if Hamilton DNFs.
Yeah, he had the DNF twice for Bottas.
Even if he DNFs, he will still be ahead in the championship. That is crazy. He can. Yeah, wow.
Man, I'm just praying that the rules shake-up next year really messes with Mercedes.
Verstappen's only 11 points behind Vettel, by the way. Very close. So
yeah,
it takes one race for Verstappen to get third in the constructors at the moment.
Nice. He came in, what, 4th last year?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, because he missed out on the award ceremony they do at the end of the season.
Right. Yeah. Oh, he came behind Raikkonen, Vettel, and then Hamilton. Bottas was 5th.
Cool. Well, I'm excited.
All right. Anything else for the Austrian GP?
No, I'm ready to get into it. Can't wait for Thursday. Start some practice. Gonna sit down at work, log onto the computer, and we'll take an hour out of my day to watch practice.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks for listening. As always, look us up on Instagram.
I was just kidding, by the way. If
he's not kidding,
any of my bosses were listening, I do not.
They're not listening. They're not cool enough.
A joke.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Find us on Instagram at Starting Grid USA. You can reach out via email at startinggridusa@gmail.com. Like and subscribe wherever you are listening to the podcast.
Adios.
Yeah.